Progress. This is going on here. Good day, Bob here at Weldnrust, and we're finishing this thing, at least this panel. That's the plan. Let's just hope it works this time. What we need to do is do some trimming. I'm going to trim this back. I have to figure out where it's going to go. Leave a little bit of extra because I want to put a little radius on here. And we're going to salvage some of this. Same deal. I'm going to trim around here so I can save the radius. And that way, if I have to, I might have to change this a bit depending on how it's going to fit. But at least we're going to salvage some of this. All right, since this is the salvage operation, all these shrinks I put in now have to unshrink, which means stretching them. Hopefully I'll get the panel a little back to where it was. Okay. Hopefully you can see this, but it turns out this line isn't as straight as I'd hoped it would be. Fortunately, we can fix it. So somewhere from around here, see where the edge of the bend is and where the bend starts. See, on this one, the bend's going to start somewhere around here. And this looks good down here. It looks a bit off on here. So I just got to rebend this bit to about there. And then it should line up. Okay, I'm going to stop here for a second and hopefully try and explain what I'm doing. What I'm using is the hammer and literally hammering it over the dolly to try to get the radius to flow. And we're getting some success. Not perfect, but it's getting the basic shape. Just a question of doing a little bit more work. This should give you a better view. I got this reasonably straight now. A little bit of a wow I still got to get out of here. Right. I've still got some lumps and bumps on here. I'd like to get that a little bit better, just a little bit more smoother. If you've been watching this channel for a while, I think you would have noticed that this vise has been kicking around. I keep one vise loose. This thing has been so handy for different things, as long as it's not mounted to anything. If I had to mount it, there's holes in it and there's holes in the table, but I rarely do that. I've got the other vise for doing that. But this one, here's a fine example as to why I keep one vise loose. Before I cut this, I got to make this line a little bit more precise. So I'm putting 2 lines on here. That's going to be my bend line. The start of the bend line. I want to put my cut line. I'll do it 3/8 of an inch. Okay, I said it was 3/8 of an inch. How long is it actually? 3/8 of an inch. All right, I'll confess, I'm not too bad at guessing dimensions. Some time ago, my son David made me this little vise and gave it to me. He did this in school, and I thought, I ever going to use this thing? Well, I'll just kind of keep it in my selection of vices and whatnot. So, it turns out I got a use for it. I took the one jaw. Normally, it sits like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it around, put a regular bolt in it, and as you can see, I got a nice little curve here and a little radius. In a few seconds, you'll see what we're going to do with it. So he says with confidence. Unfortunately, it was flat here. I just took it off camera and I had to actually countersink it because if I didn't, the bolt would go there, it would sit there. I couldn't close the other jaw because it would hit the bolt. I have to use countersink. Well, we've got a little bit of distortion. You can see how it doesn't fit that great here. So I'm going to put this in the shrinker and that should straighten her out. Note it takes very little.
Well, I think you could probably see that this and this don't line up perfectly. Not too worried about it, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to slot. This is why I still use screws. I can slot the hole and shift this whole thing over that little bit. You'll note when welding sheet metal, if I have the opportunity, I'll use an aluminum block. This way I can run a little hotter and better dissipate heat. Well, as you can imagine, we got a little bit of warpage. No problem. Hammer and bag, we could straighten anything.
Well, that's one little job accomplished. It's not absolutely perfect. I'm going to have to do the final tweaking once I get the panel off, fix the inside of the fender, and then weld this permanently in here. In the meantime, it has to be removable to do the repairs on the inside. But I'm hoping for the next one, we're going to start working on the trunk lid. Anyways, that is my hope. So I want to thank you guys for watching, for subscribing, and looking forward to the next one. Bye for now.